Hello everyone, we're glad you could join us. All is well that ends well, and blessed are the peacemakers. That's the template that perfectly captures Malam Milikiari's intervention in the 2-year-old Bilima community dispute. Now production can resume at OML 25. See what we've been missing: 35,000 barrels per day, and it's coming back. And for disruptions in the oil market considered not very significant, OPEC does not just sit down and do nothing. Nothing can be more significant than the recent disruptions which has prompted the organization to deliberate with the likes of the IEA. Saudi Arabia has promised to get things back to status quo ante by month's end. Money is not everything, but when it comes to the business of oil and gas, financing is everything. NNPC GMD Malam Kyari is talking about the $2.5 billion pipeline deal recently sealed between the National Oil Company and a Chinese firm, with deliverables being power and gas. All the attendant numbers and details are in the package. I am Akin Agbejule. This is our Gas Forum.
We're also lucky as management and as a company today that this country is led by President Muhammad Buhari, who believes and which we share that public officers must be accountable to the citizens.
Financially, the scholarship has helped me to pay my school fees and other monetary activities associated with studying as a medical student.
I believe other corporate organizations should take on the same path to encourage students in school.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Welcome to the highlights. 35,000 barrels per day crude oil production to come on stream. Imagine what that volume will do to sufficiency. OPEC scribe discusses oil market development with IEA head. NNPC Chinese lender sealed $2.5 billion pipeline deal. All outputs to be fully restored by month end, says Saudi Energy Minister. Let's treat you to the details shortly.
I am very optimistic about the new GMD because he was once a chairman of Pengasan. I have seen his performance then. He was a nice man, very pragmatic, and upon all, he is very sincere and honest.
Nigeria's crude oil production is poised for an increased output of 35,000 barrels per day as a protracted dispute that soiled relations amongst Shell Petroleum Development Company (SPDC), Belema Oil and host communities within the precinct of OML 25 in Kula Kingdom of Akukutoru local government area of Rivers State has come to an amicable end. Commending the stakeholders for successful settlement of the issues, Chief Silva noted that his mandate as Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources was to ensure a zero disruption in crude oil and gas production across all assets. He said the Petroleum Ministry under his watch had resolved to settle all pending legacy issues capable of igniting loss or disruption in production, adding that every drop of oil produced in Nigeria must get to the desired destination to create the much needed value for all stakeholders.
One of the focus of the Petroleum Ministry today is to ensure that there is zero loss in the industry. Our production should get to destination. And zero loss, as far as we are concerned, is not just losses from pipelines, but we also consider as loss to the country assets that can be produced that for some reason are just bogged down by all kinds of legacy issues and are not being produced.
The crisis was laid to rest following a rapprochement brokered by the Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Malam Milikiari, offering the promise to open the way for resumption of production activities on the oil field soon. Speaking at the end of the peace parley, symbolized with the signing of a dispute resolution agreement among the erstwhile feuding parties, the NNPC GMD described the event as vital in ensuring restoration of normalcy, especially in the communities whose normal ways of life have been disrupted by the dispute in the last 2 years.
Finally, I would like to recognize the enormous support the Honorable Minister of State has given us in this process to make sure that we bring to closure, which is also part of the overall objective of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, to bring peace to all communities, to bring prosperity to all of us. And we're proud to say that this is working.
Kyari said the economic implication of the peace agreement was that production within the OML 25 and adjoining assets, which have daily production output of over 35,000 barrels, will resume and add value for the community, the investors, and the country at large. Responding, Okumbo thanked Chief Silva and Malam Kyari for their exemplary efforts and demonstration of deep commitment in resolving the disputes with Belema Oil and the communities.
So I want to convey my deep appreciation to the GMD of NNPC and the Honorable Minister of State for this intervention to bring this long-drawn issue to closure.
He said Shell was looking forward to a quick return to the oil platform ahead of planned resumption of production activities in OML 25. On his part, Mr. Jack Rich Tain said the resolution would ensure restoration of production, which would ultimately benefit communities and all stakeholders in this regard.
And we're looking forward to quickly, get into the communities and also letting them understand that we'll resolve all disputes. And right now, we've got to get back to business and making sure the production starts.
He pledged to abide by the terms of dispute resolution agreement, saying Belema Oil would always support any initiative designed to bring peace and development for the communities and the country.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Malam Kyari, says the corporation has agreed to a $2.5 billion financing with a Chinese lender for pipeline project in Nigeria. The NNPC boss, who stated this in an interview with Bloomberg TV, said it was a pipeline contractor project that would deliver 3,600 megawatts of power and supply 2 billion standard cubic feet of gas. He added that the corporation had secured 15% owner financing from the Chinese firm, which is close to $430 million already, and that the NNPC was expecting closure of 85%.
Contractor finance pipeline project that will deliver 3,600 megawatts of power and at the first instance, and also to particularly supply 2 billion scope of gas. That's quite significant in the context of our current situation. And of course, the financing is everything. And what we did was to engage the Chinese. It's been a long conversation.
It's been going on for quite a while.
Well, quite a while, and we're very close to financial closure. In the first instance, we have secured 15% owner financing of close to $430 million is on ground in our accounts, and we're expecting closure of the 85%, which is about $2.5 billion. And once that is closed, we think that this pipeline will be delivered on schedule. We're adding 3,600 megawatts of power from 3 captive power plants to be located in Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano. What that means is that you're going to add additional capacity, which will spur of industrialization in this location and along the right of way of this pipeline.
Alternate chairman of the board of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Dr. Thomas John, has called on shareholders of the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) to maximize Nigeria's abundant gas resources and generate more revenue for the nation. Dr. John made this known while speaking on the sidelines of the Gas Technology Exhibition and Conference, Gas Tech, held in Houston, Texas, United States of America.
They are making sure that they carry the flag and ensure that our gas is put to good use and increase the fortunes of the country and all the shareholders.
He expressed delight that 30 years after the NLNG was incorporated, the project was growing fast, while successive managements have been able to realize the dreams of its founding fathers. Dr. John, who went down memory lane, said one of his first tasks as GMD of NNPC in the 1980s was to negotiate the relocation of the Finima community. The actualization of the Train 7 project comes as NLNG celebrates 30 years of its incorporation and 20 years since exporting its first LNG cargo in 1999. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has reiterated its commitment towards harnessing Nigeria's abundant resources for the benefit of Nigerians. Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Malam Mele Kyari, disclosed this while speaking at a gas and power breakfast briefing on the sidelines of the Gas Technology Exhibition and Conference, GasTech, held in Houston, Texas, United States of America. While describing the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) as a very critical company for Nigeria, Kyari appealed to prospective investors to consider investing in the organization for the benefit of shareholders and the entire Nigerians.
We have almost limitless opportunity in the whole value chain of hydrocarbon. As I've said during the conversation, prospective investors can participate from the upstream to the midstream and the downstream.
He said NNPC was working tirelessly to ensure that Nigeria's abundant gas resources are utilized to fulfill government's power aspirations by developing the gas infrastructure across the entire gas value chain and opening up the domestic gas market. According to him, Nigeria's approach in terms of implementing the energy mix is participatory, which in the long run will make energy available to the citizenry by utilizing the opportunities provided by the renewable energy solutions. Stressing further, Kyari observed that the NNPC was working very hard to provide adequate capacity that will meet consumers' demands, even as it was upgrading its facilities to be able to meet up with demand both locally and abroad. Earlier in his remarks, the managing director of the NLNG, Mr. Tony Atta, shared his company's story, which he said had over the last 3 decades helped to make Nigeria better. Atta observed that for the country to stay competitive in terms of cost in the global LNG market, there was the need for NLNG's shareholders to think beyond NLNG Train 7. He said the company is well on track on attaining the final investment decision FID on Train 7, which will see its production rise from 22 million tons per annum to 30 million tons per annum.
Today at 200 TCF, 6 LNG trains, 22 million tons. We thought we made a very positive step to increase capacity, and that is underpinned by a big project, Train 7, which is to add 8 million tons and increase our capacity by 35%.
OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Batkindo has discussed the oil market's development with the head of the International Energy Agency, Fatih Birol, after the attacks on Saudi oil facilities. The two men expressed their satisfaction that the situation has been brought under control by the Saudi authorities and agreed to continue to monitor the market and keep in regular contact over the next couple of days, the OPEC source said. The source said that holding an emergency meeting for OPEC and its allies now was not on the table after the attacks on Saudi oil plants halved the kingdom's oil output. Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman has said the Arab nation's oil output would return to normalcy by the end of September, seeking to soothe rattled energy markets after attack on 2 installations that slashed its production by half. Prince Salman told a press conference in Jeddah that half of the production knocked out by the attacks was already back up and running. He said the kingdom had dipped into its stored reserves to ensure supply continued as normal. The prince said Saudi Arabia would keep its role as the secure supplier of global oil markets. He added that the kingdom, the world's leading oil exporter, needs to take strict measures to prevent further attacks. Oil prices dropped about 6% after the energy minister's comments, steadying markets that had jumped amid concerns of supply and instability in the region. The attacks, penultimate Saturday on the Abqaiq processing plant and Kurais oil field, halved the kingdom's production and shut off about 5% of global oil output. The kingdom will achieve 11 million barrels per day capacity by the end of September and 12 million barrels per day by the end of November, Prince Abdulaziz said. Oil production in October would be 9.89 billion barrels per day, and the world oil exporter will keep full oil supplies to customers this month, he said. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry is to present evidence of Iranian involvement as well as weapons used in the attacks. Aramco chairman Yasir Al-Rumayyan said the attacks would not affect the upcoming IPO of his company. He added that production at Kurais resumed only 24 hours after the attack and has gradually increased since then. Production at Abqaiq is at 2 million barrels per day, with output expected to be restored to prior levels by the end of September. Aramco ensured deliveries would continue by drawing on inventories and offering additional crude production from other fields. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Malam Mele Kyari, has charged depot and area managers of the Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company (NPSC) to display utmost integrity in the conduct of their daily business in order to fit into management's strategic objective of transparency, accountability, and performance excellence, TAPE. The GMD gave the charge at a retreat organized by the Storage Division of NPSC for all depot managers, area managers, and field officers drawn from the 21 depots across the country, which held in Abuja.
I like us to be very transparent. This is our cardinal persuasion. Let's be transparent, let's be accountable, so that with the combination of this will help us in our efforts to perform excellently.
Also speaking at the retreat, NNPC Chief Operating Officer Downstream, Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, urged the operations staff to carry out their duties with the highest level of ethical standards.
We are going to support your drive to have a clean operation in all our depots, around our pipelines, and all that we do in downstream sector.
In his welcome address, the Managing Director of NPSC, Mr. Luke Anele, urged participants to bear their minds on any issue regarding their various areas of operations, stressing that the retreat was organized to x-ray the situation with the depots.
Let us do what we're supposed to do and follow up on issues that require attention.
A very warm welcome to you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Julia Auta. The flagship corporate social responsibility program of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) is the National Science Quiz competition that is held annually across the 774 local government areas of the country. Today, our camera on the street sought to know the impression of the public on the CSR program that has been running for 17 years and still counting.
It is a very interesting program, and every year our students used to participate. Within the school also, they exhibit a kind of knowledge, a kind of competition which they want to be picked as one of those that will go out and participate in NNPC competition. So really NNPC has imparted a lot in the life of students, not only in GSS Gwarimpa, but in the whole country.
It gets us prepared. We organize quiz competitions even within the school. So we get our students to know what is really going on. We prepare them, not even as maybe individual, but as a group, as science students, we get them informed about the examination, so they know that there is something up. So it keeps up that spirit of learning, which is what they've come to school to do.
The NNPC Science Quiz competition has helped me because when you go there to write it, you see different aspects of questions that are asked. And when you come back to the school, it also helps in your examinations and to know more about a particular thing.
I think the quiz challenges me to also push my limits, as in to study harder so that I can be a champion, I can be someone who is impacting in the society.
It's making students more knowledgeable about the science subjects, and if we are to go for any other quiz, we know where and where to read on a particular topic.
I think the yearly quiz competition for our students is in the right direction. I'm so pleased with that.
If an NNPC is known for anything among students, it will be this program, which is a good way to orientate the students towards national development.
For them to provide these platforms for people that are not able to afford school is amazing.
I know they do undergraduate scholarship as well, so that is also a step. But what is most important right now should be awareness, so people are aware of this quiz competition.
The NNPC National Science Quiz Competition, which started in 2001, is designed mainly to promote the study of science, technology and mathematics in the country. And that's the much we can take on this segment. Please stay tuned for the rest of the program.
NNPC is doing a great job. They have shown that they have the interest and commitment not only in their primary duties but also in building the community around them. They've created this platform to challenge students and also to reward them for academic excellence.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Hello, delighted to have you join us once again on yet another informative segment of the program. My name is Faith Ayuba. Did you know that NNPC Retail Limited operates special stations in the riverine areas called floating mega stations? Did you know that NNPC floating stations supply uniform petroleum products pricing across the country? Likewise, the NNPC Retail Limited is at the threshold of extending its services in the areas of lubricants and non-fuel services. Did you know that the NNPC Retail Limited liquefied petroleum gas cylinders are safe and available in all NNPC retail stations nationwide? Did you also know that the NNPC Retail Limited and the floating platforms have created employment opportunities for so many Nigerians? Now you know. Please don't go away as the rest of the program continues.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices edged higher in Asian trade after days of turbulence, with markets soothed by Saudi Arabia's pledge to restore full production by end September at facilities knocked out in drone and missile attacks last weekend. Brent crude futures rose 8 cents to $63.68 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude was up 14 cents to $58.25 per barrel. The steadying of nerves after a 14.6% jump in Brent prices in the week is the contract's biggest one-day percentage gain since at least 1988. It came after Saudi Arabia set out the timeline to full operation and also said it had managed to restore supplies to customers at levels prior to the attacks by drawing from its oil inventories. Oil analytics firm Kairos estimated Saudi Arabia lost about 3.4 million barrels per day of oil output after crude oil inventories plunged nearly 10 million barrels as of September 16 compared with pre-attack levels. Still, the head of the International Energy Agency said Wednesday it does not see a need to release emergency oil stocks as markets are well supplied. Separately, Weekly data from the Energy Information Administration on U.S. oil inventories provided a mixed snapshot. Crude oil stockpiles at the world's largest oil producer rose by 1.1 million barrels last week against analyst expectations for a drop of 2.5 million barrels. And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Owigo Okolo.
Well, for those out there, you can always make it on stage. You can always win. Just work hard, focus, and everything will come your way.
That's been Oil and Gas Forum for this edition. Pretty upbeat across the local and global scene of oil and gas. We hope you found it delightsome. Let's do it again, same time, same station next week. Enjoy your week ahead. Bye.